What are we looking at? Yep, this is the one you've been waiting for. Hey Cecil, this is for you, buddy. This is a 1956 Johnson 10 horse outboard. Welcome back. I'm working with a new camera, so hopefully everything goes well. Made a little room in the shop. You can see we got an old timer sitting back here waiting to get worked on. That looks familiar. 1960 3-horse Johnson, weedless. And then we got the Cypress Gardens water skis over there for Darren down in Florida. And we also have an 18 horsepower power head here that needs to get planted on another engine. Blue for Evinrude, white for Johnson, red for Early Johnson. They actually had another name for this color. It escapes me at the moment, but I wanted to show you the underneath first and give you an idea. This is totally original, 1956. Original paint, original parts. I've never had this motor apart. Still got the original factory 2-line connector. And we started off with the 2-line pressure tank, which you can see here is your old style 2-line connector. Very rare stuff these days. Great concept though in the day, because the pressure in the tank, which was built up by this little primer button over here, we pump that up, that would fill the carburetor bowl right down there. I know you can see that. That line would fill the bowl. The air, in turn, would come out of the crankcase pulse, which is this hose right here. That hose put a pulse back to the gas tank, which pressurized the system, and it was a continuous pressure and feed to the float in the carburetor that you see there. Sweet little machine. Works really, really good. This is a 10 horsepower power head, and it's magneto driven. It has 2 coils, and this obviously is the flywheel, and above we have just the recoil. And we'll get back a little bit so you can see. The piece below the recoil starter here is an air silencer. Not a filter, just a silencer. Because the beauty of these motors is running on the lake. Oh, timeout. Running on the lake, they breathe squeaky clean air, and they have infinite cooling water, which is pumped in by a little water pump which sits down in that housing, and that keeps the thermostat happy, which lives in this housing. So that's the business end of the machine, and there really isn't much more to look at here other than the condition. And again, this thing was manufactured in Waukegan, Illinois in 1956. As I said, totally original piece. I've never painted it. I have put coils in it. I have replaced the water pump. That's really all we've actually done to this machine. And this is the original factory 4-gallon gas tank that came with one of these motors back in '56. When you left $460 at the dealer, you left with this machine. So let me see if I can put you down on the shelf, and I'll put the bonnet back on this thing so you can see how uniquely this thing goes together, because it's really kind of slick the way they designed this to work. So if you're on the water and you need to get in there for some reason, you don't need a toolbox full of tools to make it happen. So hang on just a second. Alright, looks a little different in this situation than it does in the picture at the end of the last video. However, this thing is basically a acrylic, almost a polycarbonate, but back in the day it was a different material, and all it does is work as a clamshell. There's a couple of rubber isolators which go into these 2 receivers, which you see here on the back of the motor. And all those do is isolate the vibration from the cover. The cover has a small hinge right there in the center. And we have this little strap that goes on here, so that if you're out in the water and you take it apart, you don't drop this entire assembly, because these do not float. And then, simple matter, dropping her into place, little tap, get the gear shift out of the way, reattach this, and bingo, there you go. Look at the original forward, neutral, reverse decals. 100% original, 1956. Kind of cool. This is one of my favorite machines of all the ones I have collected over the years. This thing has a great deal of sentimental value. So I'm happy to be able to bring it to you guys today, share it with you. If anybody has questions, or they're trying to document one of these old machines, feel free to PM me, and I'll be more than happy to do some, you know, still photos for you, engine stuff, whatever, and we'll be happy to help you. They don't make these things anymore, guys. This is totally made in the United States of America, and let me just show you real quick, right down here, what we're looking at, and I think we can do this. There's the original build plate. It's riveted to the transom clamp. That's proof that it's an original piece. And there's a slug up top with a matching number. So there you have it. And just as a review, this one's a power head for an 18. This one happens to be electric start. The basic parts for Johnson and Evinrude machines are exactly the same. They're all made by the same company. This one has a fuel filter attached, not a pump, it's just a filter. This again is a pressure machine, but it's they're unique pieces of machinery. You can set the points right through that access cover without even removing the flywheel, and really unique pieces of history. I've got a bunch of these. I'll share some more with you. In fact, today I picked up one. It's in the back of my Suburban, so we'll try to get some footage of that. And going forward, I've got a couple other things that you'll probably be interested in that I'll be sharing with you. But I'm trying to get used to this camera, so hopefully this is going to work out well. I'm trying to go with Neil's advice, which is plug it in and go. Don't edit it to death. So we're going to see what happens. I appreciate you.